Hey guys, today we are going to talk about backstroke. Yep, you heard me right, backstroke. I did not mean to say breaststroke. I thought it'd mix things up for our long axis viewers. So let's get into this. I've got some really cool drills as we go through these. We'll talk about what makes for good backstroke and coincidentally, what makes for good freestyle because they're very complementary. So let's get into it. Let's start with rotation drill. This one is foundational to free and back because both are long axis strokes where the hips and by extension the core should be at the center of the movement. When you do this drill, you want your hands at your side and focusing entirely on rotating your hips fully. That means going from one side to the other. It helps if you imagine a laser beam coming out of your belly button and hitting targets on the wall. When the hips rotate, they are bringing the shoulder to the chin, which stays still. Your body is going to want to naturally shy away to be more comfortable because having the shoulder that close to the chin does not feel comfortable. It helps to put a cup of water on your head that's half filled, right above the bridge of your nose, right by your goggles, and see if you can make it the whole length of the pool without losing that cup of water. Another thing to think about is the type of kick you have. In order to do this properly, you have to have a very tight kick because a big kick will get you crossed up. Your legs will hit each other. And so to avoid that, your body simply won't rotate as much. So you've got to be able to do both, rotate and kick. Now, here's an example of using the shoulders instead of the hips. You can see how my body is getting twisted up and it's turning a little bit to the right, to the left. It's not going straight down the pool because when the shoulders are driving the motion, then it gets to be very messy. All right, let's start building the stroke with the next drill. This one goes by a few different names, but I call it Sailboat. It's essentially backstroke, but you are putting a pause in your arms where your arm that has just finished pulling stops about 45 degrees above your butt cheek. You don't want the arm behind you. You don't want the arm out in front of you. In both cases, it's going to, in the case of behind you, it's going to lead to flat swimming and less rotation. In the case of the arm being out in front of you, it is going to lead to you crossing the midline, which is that imaginary line down the middle of your body that you never want to cross because it leads to that twisting and turning left to right that we talked about with rotation drill just now. There are a couple of benefits to this drill. In particular, it sets you up for a good catch. It gives you a pause to think about having your arm at the proper depth, about 6, 7, 8 inches below the surface, depends on who you are, and then getting set up for a good catch, a good hook on the water out front, and then snapping it down your body. The other benefit is that it lets you focus on your rotation, using the hips to drive the movement of the arms going around and around and around, not using the shoulders as we see right here. The biggest problem I see with folks when they do this drill is that they start throwing the arms and overusing the shoulder, which inevitably leads to a bounce in the stroke. And so you get a whole bunch of water on your face, and that's a telltale sign that you're doing that throwing motion that you don't want to do. Now that we have the mechanics down, let's speed things up with the next drill. This one only goes by one name that I know of. It is infamous in swimming as probably the most difficult thing you can do in the water, spin drill. Just saying it, it gives me shivers. It's terrifying. And you'll see why here in a second. Backstroke is a stroke that relies heavily on tempo. Unlike freestyle where you can glide out front with that arm, backstroke you have to keep the arms moving at all times. No pausing, no deceleration, because the pull in backstroke is the weakest of the 4 strokes. So you've got to go up tempo. But what you see a lot of is people pausing their arms either after they finish a pull right before it comes out of the water or right before they start the pull when the arm has just entered the water. You also see a lot of people, they come out of the water quickly, but then they slow the arm down into the water. This drill fixes all of that. Let's take a look. Now, in spin drill, the idea is to imagine you are sitting in a chair, completely upright. Your chest, your eyes are all facing where you came from. When people do this, you often see them merely tilt their chin down or they sit up just a little bit. You've got to sit up all the way. And from that point on, it is just go, go, go. Spin the arms, flail, flail. There's really no technique to this. You're not trying to pull a certain way and master your snap down your body, none of that. This is all about conditioning the arms to be able to go fast for 100 or a 200. I have heard of swimmers doing sets like 8-200 spin drill, all spin drill, on crazy intervals like 230. But if you can master this drill, your backstroke will improve exponentially. To be fair, to warn you, there is a pitfall to this, 2 pitfalls. One, it obviously doesn't work on rotation, but that's not the point. The second one is shoulder problems. If you have shoulder problems, this is not a drill for you. So be aware. And if you are new to this kind of movement, to this kind of drill, and you need some support, fins are a great way to start off. And restricting it to a few strokes, not the whole length of the pool. So that's it. Those are my tips for a better backstroke. I hope this helps you swim different and swim faster. Good luck.